Has anyone seen that music video from a long time ago that was oh, it's the first of the month, bone thug looking boy? Has anyone seen that video? Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It is of course the first of the month, so we are going to be doing another TBR poll. As of today, it is July 30th, which means I'm kind of in the middle of one more book from my July TBR. So I'll put on the screen the status of all the books that we pulled for our July TBR. I think I did pretty good this month. I did have one DNF. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep our 4-book TBR because it's goated right now. And then we're gonna have 2 maybes. We might DNF something and be like, we can pick from our other TBR. So there was that. I think it was just a bit too juvenile for me. Even if the plot was interesting, I just couldn't really get over our main character Felix and how they were written. It was getting on my nerves and I was like, you know what? We're gonna try again another time. But we did pick that book for our read it or unhaul it, and I will be unhauling that book so there's somebody else who may enjoy it more than I did. I do love a good YA book. Some would say that I would love those more than adult books. I disagree. But I do love a good YA book, and I think this particular one was just meant for maybe a younger audience. I'm really upset about that because the plot and the situation inside the book would have been interesting if I felt like the writing wasn't just a little bit too juvenile for me personally. So we're going to be using our will again, but I did change some of the prompts out so that I can hopefully pull some different books, both from my TBR and from all the library checkout loans that I have, because I need to start reading these books and return them back to the library. I hate to check out a book and then I don't read it and then I have to return it back to the library and recheck it out. So this will hopefully help me stop doing that. So let's go ahead and pull for our first book. Y'all wouldn't believe what percent my phone is on, but we move, okay? We move. To God. Okay, this is still fun. I really thought I was going to choose on a 2026 release, but this is still fun. Return that book means I need to choose a library loan. How I was going to do this is I was just going to choose the first book that I have that's due back at my library the soonest. However, I'm wondering if that's smart because the current loans that I have out, some of them are due back on August 1st. And if somebody already has that book on hold, then I won't be able to recheck it back out. And I'll have to like rush and read it before August is up. And I don't want to do that. Like I want to be able to actually enjoy the book that I have out, even if I need to return it in August. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, you can check if a book has other holds on it before you return it back to the library. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose the first book that's due and also that doesn't have any holds on it. Okay, so luckily the first book that is due doesn't have any other holds on it. So that's what we're going to pick. This is actually a book that I just recently checked out like a week or so ago. So this is good because it's going to force me to read a more recent book that I really wanted to get to. It is The Unmagical Life of Briar Jones by Lex Croucher. From what I understand of the book, there's 2 friends, Seb and Briar. Both of them are trying to get accepted into this elite boarding school called the Temple School of Thaumaturgy. I think it's like a magical boarding school and is known for producing like elite CEOs and British prime ministers. At age 11, Seb gets accepted and Briar doesn't. And during his time there, Seb actually goes missing and Briar kind of thinks nothing of it. They kind of just go back to their normal life. However, 7 years later, Bart ends up accepting a position at the Temple School of Magic where they have to go through all of like the magical archives, and that's where they find out that Seb is actually not missing. He's just renamed himself as Bastion and he's like the evil lord over the school. I put it on hold, I think before it even came out or like around the time that it came out so that I could be one of the first ones to get it because it sounded really interesting, like a dark academia book. And at the time I really wanted to get into dark academia. So I went ahead and checked it out. So that's the book that we're going to choose for Return That Book. Okay, a 1-word title. Ooh, I actually have quite a few. Actually, no, I don't. Ooh, I have 2. I see 2 over here on my cart of library checkouts that I could choose from. So I'm going to pull those down. And this one. We could do a manga. Wait a minute, we could do a manga. Okay, y'all, when I put this on the wheel, I didn't realize that we actually have so many options. When y'all see the in front of a word, do y'all count that as 1 or 2 words? Like the Nightingale or the Unbroken. Is that 1 or 2 words, y'all? I feel like it's 2, but I can see when people only use 1. That's beside the point. These are our options, which we have really good picks. So we have Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. I've seen this making its rounds back on TikTok and I'm trying to figure out why. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. It's set in the early 1990s and our main character Lucy is set in the 1990s and it follows our main character Lucy. She ends up catching feelings for one of her school friends, Susanna, and is gonna explore like her struggling between wanting to leave the town of Crossmoor while also leading a double life. You know, so that's one option. I've been seeing this make rounds because a lot of people have been picking it for like one of their summer reads. This is our next pick. Yesteryear. It has been making rounds. Yesteryear has been making rounds as the trad wife horror literary fiction that it is, or supposedly. I have not read it yet, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on a copy that didn't have a hold on it and couldn't have a hold on it at my library. At my library, whenever I see the lucky day stickers, that means we get up to like 2 rounds of checkout. So really you get 4 weeks or a whole month with the book, and no one can actually put that book on hold. So this will actually be a good pick because it gives us time to read the book throughout August. We could also use Together. This is the second book in the Pretty series, which I've already mentioned multiple times on my YouTube channel because I love that book when I read it for some reason out the blue, and I of course caught the second book in the series and I have been putting it off on reading it. And the last one is Flock by Kate Stewart. This book I have been seeing have a resurgence. I'm assuming because she has made a companion series to the original Ravenhood series, and so therefore people are either rereading Flock or rereading the whole Ravenhood series. I've never read it, and I'm intrigued as to why people are crying. I'm overdue for a cry. I don't cry easily, and I'm trying to figure out what's gonna make me cry. I don't think Flock is gonna do it, but if it did, okay. But I am long overdue for a cry, y'all. I have been trying to figure out what's gonna do it. I don't cry easily at all. It's actually an issue, but we're not gonna talk about it. So if anyone has books that are like really heartfelt, really good writing, really good plot, and actually like really good love story, drop them down below. Because so far, nothing's done it for me. So with all these options, I really don't know what to choose. Should we be basic and choose Yesteryear, or should we choose Sunburn? You know what? They're both library checkouts. Let's see which one has a hold on it. Okay, so Sunburn is actually due back at my library on the 4th of August. And Yesteryear, like I said, isn't allowed to have any holds on it. So I still get this for like almost all of August. So we're going to choose Yesteryear. And I may go ahead and return Sunburn because someone else is probably waiting on it. And then I'll just put a hold on it when I'm ready. So that's 2 books. I think I'm going to go for 4 prompts, just like we did last month, because I feel like that's still a good number. And I also have 2 sneaky prompts on here, but we'll talk about those if I pull them. Why did I say that and we just pulled one? So I had 2 prompts on my wheel where if I chose it, I had to actually pick 2 books. One of them was a complete duology, and the other one that's on here is the same but different. And we just pulled a complete duology. Do people count Heated Rivalry and The Long Game as a duology because it's a continuation of each other? I feel like we should. But let's not cheat. Let's see what I have. I actually do have a lot of duologies on my shelf, which is the reason why I put it on the wheel. I need to get through some of these series, and I feel like a duology is a good place to start. So I do have the Haunted Adeline duology, but no. I have the Crooked Kingdom duology as well, which is always talked about. I'm curious as to if it's actually as good as people say it is. And I also want to read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, so we could choose that one. I also have, I want to say, the Great Cities duology by N.K. Jemisin. I actually just picked that one up like last month when it was on sale. And I picked it up because I wanted it to be a precursor to get into N.K. Jemisin's work, because they say the 5th season is the best series, and I don't want to jump in at the best part of her works. I also have the Tale of Two Crowns duology by Lindsay Bird, which the second book did get released this year. I'm really reading towards the Great Cities duology, which I have behind me right now. But I've heard so much good things about the Crooked Kingdom series, and I'm just so curious if it's as good as people say it is. I'm gonna read 1 page. I'm gonna read 1 page of each. Let's see. Man, this book is hefty. Please wait 1 moment. We're gonna choose the Great Cities duology. I feel like I'm gonna like this a lot. I didn't even go get the Crooked Kingdom off my shelf. Even though this is already 4 books, we're gonna choose 1 more prompt. Hopefully we get a single book and not the other one that's also 2 books. I knew I should have waited because my option for the 2026 Lit Fic was Yesteryear. Actually, no, it wasn't. I had 3 books that I wanted to choose from, but I already know which one I want to choose. However, my options were Kin by Tayari Jones, Leave Your Mess at Home by Talani Akinola, and There's Only One Sin in Hollywood by Rashid Newsome, which I do still really want to read this year. However, the one I'm going to choose is Leave Your Mess at Home. It just sounded so good, so interesting, some family drama, and I felt like I needed that. Maybe I don't. This one follows our main character Lanji, who is the eldest daughter of an estranged family from Chicago, and she's also supposedly a disgraced influencer. 3 other siblings who also have their own things going on right now too. And they're all supposed to be coming back for like one reunion during Thanksgiving, and I need to know what the mess at the table is. So this one I do actually have to check out again from my library, so I'm actually gonna go pick that up when I return Sunburn, which is still fine. And I think that's gonna be our last pick. I'm really excited about this TBR. This is a good TBR. And then before we go, I did want to share some recent books that I got. I went to Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and I have a couple books from my book box subscriptions that I want to share with you guys because our TBR is ever growing. Starting with the books that I got from Books A Million, I actually got 2 manhwa adaptations of a Dame novel by the same author who writes Heaven's Official Blessing. This is the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation series, and they had volumes 1 and 2 on sale when I went to go look at them for like $7.99 each. So I picked up both of them. I had to. I really want to collect the novels and the manhwa adaptations of both series, and if I can find them on sale, I'm gonna grab them. Also, I really love the artwork in here. The next book that I got was from Barnes & Noble. I ended up getting Starship by Cat Sebastian. This is my first Cat Sebastian book, and I always hear such good things about this author. And while I was at Barnes & Noble, they actually did a price match for whatever was online for their website, which some places don't do. And I got it on sale for like 13 bucks. So I was like, why not? It's about 2 actors who have known each other for like 7 years, and they have this rivalry going on set. Simon and Charlie have basically spent the last 7 years like at each other's throats, and like the entire industry knows it. However, Simon has the opportunity to take a job away from Charlie, but it also is connected to Charlie, so he has to agree to a very public friendship. Charlie ends up having an emergency and basically takes Simon with him, and it's gonna be a road trip. There's going to be a road trip. There's going to be some fun. There's going to be some love. I feel like this will be a good read to read while it's still summertime. So I'm excited for it. And so I went ahead and picked it up. And then the next 2 books I actually got from my Broken Binding subscription box. I'm subscribed to both the sci-fi fantasy and just the regular tier 2 fantasy subscription boxes. So far, I'm liking it. I think only one of the designs I haven't really been impressed by. However, I did just get accepted to the tier 2 fantasy box, and I'm excited for the next 2 books that are going to come out. It's Paranesi by Susanna Clark and her other book, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norwell. So I'm excited for both of those to come out because Paranesi was definitely on my TBR already. However, this one is The Heart of the Naga by Lee Young-do. This is a translated work, which I was really excited about because I do want to read more translated fiction. This is basically set in a world where there are 4 different types of people. There's fire people who can basically control fire, the element. There's the Reckon, which are bird people with super strength and are warrior-like. There are the humans, and then there are the Naga who live down south, which are basically the reptilian people who have sacrificed their heart for immortality. And for the first time in centuries, a Naga is being transported north. As of now, the people haven't mixed together. They haven't communicated with each other, and they haven't really crossed races. And so it's going to go on this journey that's formed by one person from each of the other 3 races in order to secure that the Naga arrives to the north safely. If I had picked the translated work prompt, this was going to be the book that I was going to pick. Which, given that we already have a duology, maybe I dodged a bullet. And then the last book I have is The Demon Star by Jesse Algorn. This one actually arrived before it was released for general sale on July 28th. And so I was really surprised by that, by how fast it came. This is a debut novel that on Goodreads is described as like some crossover between Gideon the Ninth, Red Rising, and Dune. Which I was like, interesting mix here. This one follows our main character Ysera, who in this universe was marked as a human sacrifice. However, she has survived. Now her son has been marked as the vessel for a god-killing demon. And now she's trying to decide if she wants the demons to actually control his body, which could save thousands, or save her son. Basically, I feel like without the book box, a book like this would have never rated on my radar. I'm really excited to eventually get to this one. Don't know when. That wraps up today's video. Let me know what you guys think of today's TBR. Let me know what you guys are reading for the month of August. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.